Greetings for color fans and welcome back here to Metalrog's channel. And today I'm going to show you some editor's proofs that I just received thanks to the tip from my buddy Silver Knight Kyle. And I'm going to tag him here in the video because maybe he can add some more details. But essentially these were, I believe, found in a estate of one of the I'm not sure if it's a creator or a publisher or editor of ACG comics. And he put some on eBay. They were so cheap. I mean, I think we're less than $5 shipped. So, of course, I picked up 3 from comics that I actually happen to have copies of. So I'm going to show you those side by side. And again, these are editor's proofs. 2 are colored. This one is not. So this one is previous to the point, I guess, it would get to the editor. The other ones look fully finished, and generally this would be the last step approved by the editor before it actually would go to the printers. At least that's what I've been told. If anybody knows different, let me know. Now these are on some kind of, maybe these were the old thermal transfer papers, copy, like a thermal paper. Or they're mimeographed. Again, this is from the mid-60s, I think 1967, so long ago, over 50 years ago. So this wasn't like modern copiers. So the quality is pretty good, though. But again, these are not the final product, and this is not the original art. And I just thought, since I have these, I'll talk a little bit about the 3 superheroes, well, 2 superheroes and then 1 sort of quasi-superhero that ACG tried out from 1965 through 67 before they actually went defunct. The one that I'm going to talk about first here is Nemesis, as he is the one that is portrayed here in this page and in the 2 pages following. So that is the editor's proof, and let me show you the corresponding page. That is from Adventures into the Unknown, number 161. Okay, and this is, I believe, from 1966. Let me double check. It is from 65. Okay, so I was off by a year there. And again, Nemesis was essentially their version of the Spectre. He had very similar powers and origin. He died and came back to life. Well, he didn't come back to life, but he was sort of given an opportunity to exist on Earth by the Grim Reaper, who was actually a fairly nice guy in this case. So you can see here side by side, they are exactly the same. There is some, up here, there is some information. The title of the story is called Menace of Magic, and then I'm not sure if that's Amer, like for American Comic Group, ACG, or if that's Ames, somebody that signed off. And then there's those reference numbers. 4 is the page. I'm not really sure what 323 is referenced to. It could be some kind of reference, you know, in-house reference, right? So that is the one that is, again, unfinished, or is at least not colored, but the next 2 are. So let's look at those. That is from that issue there. And that, as you can see here, is indeed colored. And this is not a copy of the colored editor's proof because it's very, you can tell it's very vivid. And there's actually pen marks there, I think depicting the colors that they were supposed to be: light blue, dark blue, light red, etc., etc. Again, if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. See down there. And let me show you the next one, and then I'll show you the corresponding. That's from page 6. This is from page 10. Again, it has the title there. Nemesis Fight to Finish. And again, that Amer or Ames, and then the 117 to 10. Again, it's page 10, and it is page 10 in the comic, as you can tell. Like, then you will see the exact same thing, and it has those other reference numbers. There's also an 11 there in red pen. Not really sure what that is about. Okay, so let me show you the interior here. As I was saying, the Nemesis was very much like the Spectre, and it was written by Richard Hughes, which also wrote some Spectre stories back in the Golden Age, I do believe. You can see they're side by side. Again, just, you know, almost on point with the color. Obviously more details here because this is not the original art, which would have a little bit more detail on the face, etc. But definitely a cool little history of comic to have. These were probably either unique or there might have been another copy somewhere down the road. Because these were mimeographed, right? And this is page 10, so we'll show you page 10 here. But again, if anybody knows different, let me know. But again, just a cool piece of comic history, part of the process of being approved before printing. As you can see there, side by side. The towel here for this lady is obviously a little lighter there, but again, probably this was this was the original art was altered a little bit so that as far as the color, so it would be as rich as it is in the comic. So that's those are the proofs and a few issues of Adventures into the Unknown. Now, Nemesis appeared about 2 years, I think, from issue 154, which I do not have, through 171. And this is probably in response to Marvel, being very successful with their superhero lines at this time. And of course, well, ACG said, hey, even though they never really had superheroes, there was Herbie, but I'll talk about him in a minute. Not really superhero in the classic sense. But Nemesis, again, had appeared, I think, in every issue for 2 years, but after a while, they took him off the cover. I do not have a complete set of all of his appearances. I'm working on it. I think I'm missing 4 or 5 of them, including the first appearance, but I will definitely have these hopefully by the end of the year. That's my goal. Again, I'm a cheapskate collector, so I'm waiting for not a fair price. I'm waiting for a cheap price to get them. These are relatively cheap. Again, if you buy them in lots, that's generally the best way to go. But to find a specific issue can sometimes be a little difficult. Again, at this point, he's off the cover, but he is back there in one of the backups. And these were anthologies. So there are, horror, mystery, suspense stories, as well as the Nemesis tales included there. The other sort of superhero-ish at the time, again, that was Adventures into the Unknown. That was Nemesis. Forbidden Worlds had Magic Man. I guess he could, if Nemesis was the Spectre, you could say Magic Man was sort of Doctor Strange, Dr. Fate, sort of. I mean, his powers were a bit different, but, he was a magician, and he had to gesture to produce some of the effects that he needed. But I think that's pretty close analogy. Here's where they actually meet in Forbidden Worlds number 136, 36. And they actually, there's an issue of Herbie where all 3 of them meet. Herbie, Magic Man, and Nemesis. Again, I believe that he was created by Richard Hughes, and he actually wrote most of these, even though he used the pseudonym Sean O'Shea or something. But again, pretty cool. Pretty cool little series. I mean, pretty unknown. That's why I'm kind of doing this, because I don't think there's a lot out there on this era of superheroes from ACG. Of course, they were mostly in the horror, mystery. They did have some funny animals and things like that. So Herbie Popnecker is the last one I'm going to talk about. This is actually his second appearance. I don't have his first one. I believe that's Forbidden Wars number 73, as you can see here. Now, Herbie is a very unusual character. This is his first cover appearance. As you can see, very rotund. He's just kind of standoffish, very awkward young man. But he came across, what was it, an alien or a genie or something, and he got imbued with all these incredible powers. And he also had these lollipops that would instill other powers in him. Again, he was created from, not these, the other two were created in 1965. He actually started in 1958, I do believe. So this was previous, but again, he wasn't really superhero-ish at that point. It wasn't until much later where he donned a costume and became the Fat Fury. It was kind of like these long johns with a plunger hat. Very odd stuff. Here's a really nice cover with Elizabeth Taylor. Oh, another thing is he was like irresistible to women. So, you know, that's why he says Herbie, my lover. I mean, just a very odd character. And essentially he could do anything. I mean, he could travel through time and stop time, go through dimensions. He could just control weather. I mean, all kinds of really odd stuff. But again, later on in the 60s, he did become superhero-ish. So I do include him as part of the three superheroes that ACG put together in the mid-60s. Although he kind of transitioned into that role from just this more like daily tie and shirt and pants. He had that, you know, the garish costume, which I don't have any comics with him on the cover with that costume, but I'm working on it. So that's it. I just thought you would enjoy seeing those editor's proofs and learn a little bit about the three superheroes that ACG had in the mid-60s. By the way, the whole company folded later in 1967. So again, this was, I think, sort of a last gasp to try to save the company from, you know, lagging sales. Again, I don't know that for a fact, but that's probably what occurred there. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. Everybody, be kind to each other, be blessed, and be back.